And the way that our minds achieve this is just to simply put our attention on something else. You see this in organizations a lot, when people don't have a really intimate relationship with each other, and they have an issue or a conflict with each other, and they just don't address it or tend to dance around it and just not focus on it, while it actually, if they were to address it, it could actually be of benefit to both of them. And what people tend to do in focusing on something else, they might focus on working really hard and work on the actual mechanical side of the work, instead of addressing that relational component. And as a result of that, the working relationship may and actually the productivity of the organization as a whole may suffer. And the underlying issue is basically just because of the fact that people like to avoid these uncomfortable things, because simply feeling good is more valuable. I think this is also the problem with the whole idea of processing through past hurts, what I've been talking about in the previous part. People just want to feel good, and they don't want to face those lingering negative emotions or certain aspects of their life that are simply not working for them, and they rather just focus on something else. And this is usually how they get into the whole mood alteration thing. And to give a very common example, is to just always make sure you're busy, so that at all times you have something to do, something that's entering your mind. You see this all the time, but people are constantly plugged into work, plugged into television, plugged into their iPods. They're constantly into something, and they never want to slow down, sit down, and just settle down and be with themselves. What I mean with be with themselves is to basically put your attention fully on your experience, rather than constantly being plugged into something external. Because if you're with your experience, then you can notice what is going on inside of yourself. But selective attention may ensure that you don't do that, simply because not putting your attention on your experience may be beneficial, because let's say your experience has some lingering negative emotions in it, and it's valuable if you can have something external to yourself to distract you from that pain. And this can be pretty tricky, because a lot of times people say like, oh no, I like to watch TV, I like to play video games, or I like to be engaged and work on stuff, so because that's what I like doing. And it's because their mind is rationalizing to themselves and saying, oh, I like doing these things, but the real reason that they like these behaviors is not because they're intrinsically so enjoyable to do, but rather because it alleviates them in selectively not attending to the experience that they're in. And there's actually a very easy reason to test for this, and that's to just simply sit down and be with your experience. And there's basically two things that you have to look for when you just sit down and just be with your experience. And those are the tendency to get just really relaxed. This is the normal response. You just sit down, be with your experience, and you become pretty relaxed. And the other one is that you get really nervous and restless and uncomfortable with the fact that you just are with your experience. And if at that moment you become really restless, that is really a clear sign that your brain is really looking for something to put the selective attention on, so that you can distract away your attention from your experience and putting it onto something else, simply because that's a way of mood altering. Because if I focus on TV or work or some kind of activity external to myself to keep myself busy, then I don't have to focus on those lingering negative emotions of uncertainty, stress, or whatever may be present in there. So the main thing to look out for is with selective attention is to just simply notice where your attention is being pulled towards, and simply to notice how your attention is selectively being pulled by certain things, and also how this selective attention pulling is happening. Is it a compulsive, restless type of thing, or is it just something that is more relaxed? Because if it's a lot of times with the selective attention, is it constantly like grabbing you in a hyper-vigilant, hyperactive way, or are you simply just relaxed and noticing things that are valuable to you, and not really running away from your own experience, because you constantly have to be plugged into something external to yourself, and thereby ignoring putting your attention on your direct experience at certain times?